Hello everyone, Alafia, it's me, Ifamotilewa, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about what it is like to be a medium. So a medium is someone who communicates with spirits. You know, it's not just necessarily deceased people, it's wayward spirits, like lost spirits, reading energies per se, but really it's just someone who speaks with spirit, basically. So I first noticed that I had this ability maybe when I was younger per se, but things like this is frowned upon in the African American community. It's something that you cannot openly speak to your family about. So when I told my family that I first believed, like, hey, this is happening to me, my mom told me, no, this is not happening to you. So, I began to listen to my mom. So what I was told was that I began to turn it off. Like it's not really a switch, but for lack of better words, turn it off. So then these events came sporadically, like every other year or so, where I would have like a supernatural event occurring where I would hear something spiritually about a person that I knew nothing about. I was certain I knew nothing about this person. And then when I finally mustered up the courage, these are so many stories, but when I finally spoke to the person, they confirmed everything that I had heard. Another question is from someone. So another question is, when did I begin to finally embrace this side of me? So maybe about 4 years ago per se, very reluctantly did I embrace this side, because in my mind I had my whole life mapped out. I knew where I was going, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. I had my nursing career that I was focusing on, and I had everything planned out. But our plan is not always God's plan. Of course it isn't. So after many traumatic events in my life, did I finally just surrender and give in and say, okay, fine. Because I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do readings for people. I was terrified. Terrified is not the word. Petrified of doing readings for people. What were people going to think of me? What were they going to say? Who wasn't going to speak to me anymore? All the worries of the flesh, of what it means to be a human. So when I realized that I had tried everything else, my way, I said, let me just surrender, give up, and try things God's way. Because these gifts that each one of us have, or, that we will have, or we have, they were given to us before we were even born. So, the church tries to teach us that these gifts are given only if you are saved, or only if you will work in the church. And that's not necessarily so, because we know that God gave us these gifts without repentance. So God gave us these gifts whether we're saved or not, because he gave us the choice of free will. So if we choose to use it for his work, or we choose to use it for the enemy's work, either way, we're still going to have it. God already gave us these gifts. So now I am, like I said here, coming out to the spiritual community and the rest of the world, because I feel, like I said, the fear is greater than my purpose is greater than the fear. So I have to, not be afraid anymore to help people, while God gave me this second chance on earth. So before I let you guys go, I just want to share one of my stories of my supernatural events, or whatever people want to call it. And this was the time when I finally realized, like, I'm done fighting. I've tried everything my way. So let me just go ahead and give in and do what God placed me here to do. So back in 2013, a lot of bad things happened in my life, and a lot of things were being stripped and taken away from me. So December 2013, a drunk driver hit my sister and myself, and she was injured, but I was not. But before that accident happened, I had seen, like I said in my previous video, 3 separate spiritual advisors that all told me the same thing, that I was imprisoned by the Orisha, meaning that I was chosen. I didn't have a choice. But in my mind, I had a choice. Who are these Orisha, and who are they to tell me what I'm going to or not going to do? So the last spiritual advisor, the Babalawo, he told me, do not sign up for school. Focus, hone in on your craft. He called it a craft. Hone in on your craft and start doing readings for people. I had no idea where to begin, and I said, I'm not even going to think about that. One thing I knew for sure was I was smart in school. So I signed up to go back to further my nursing career, and I was in school a good November I put in the application. December I got the acceptance letter. The end of December, a drunk driver hit me. Then January, on the way to the lawyer, to my parents' house to go to the lawyer, another driver hit me. I was by myself. And then February, the end of January, I started the university, started school, and I was in school a good like 2 weeks, including the weekends. And then in the beginning of February, I was out my car on the highway here in town, and a drunk driver hit my body as I was going to get back in my car. And when he hit my body, I seen myself, and I seen like a whole video of just a lot of things I had seen. And I said, wow. And when I got hit, when I got hit by the car, I seen everything. And then when I woke up on the side of the road, I was like in no pain that entire time. So I know that that God kept me, you see. And when I woke up on the side of the highway, I said, oh my God. And I tried to get up, and that's when I realized I was really injured. I was really hurt badly. So after that happened to me, I said, forget it. I'm not fighting anymore. And after I began to, go through all my surgeries and things like that, here I am. And, I started out as ass scamber. Then I went to Africa. I was initiated. I did all my initiations. And I became Ifamotilewa. Motilewa means the beautiful one has returned home. It's Motilewa. So I look forward to doing more videos and, connecting with some of you guys in the future. Odabo.